It's Russell Rush, and now we'd like to welcome to the show Lance from the company Kleenhanz. Lance, how are you?
Good, Russell. I appreciate you having me today. Thanks.
Well, I think it's really interesting because I was reading about your company and what you guys do, and I thought to myself, I just kind of laughed, honestly, because the people in my family may be addicted to hand sanitizer, like for real. But seriously, a lot of people, you even see it when you go to like the stores and the things now to wipe down your carts and everything. And hand sanitizer is a big thing. And of course, there's been the stories in the past of the hand sanitizer that's out there with the alcohol in it, that kids even getting drunk off of it. I'm sure you've heard those stories.
Oh, yeah, that started off with prison inmates, ironically, and it just spreads like wildfire.
So explain to us what Kleenhanz is and what you guys are about.
Well, actually, Kleenhanz was created because of that. You mentioned alcohol, and that's exactly why we created it. We try to kind of get away from the hand sanitizer stigma and more towards our slogan, which is hand washing on the go. Hand sanitizers have caused a lot of problems in terms of the alcohol, the drying of the skin. They're toxic, they're flammable. There's just all kinds of concerns. And when kids get involved, it's of course, a greater concern for parents. But we thought if we had a product that did the same thing as far as killing germs, but actually cleaned hands, removed dirt and germs, and was safe to use, it'd be by far the best of both worlds for consumers. And that's where we started in schools and grocery stores to give them an alternative, to give actual hand washing on the go. Because, everything is so fast-paced nowadays. I always say, unless you have a sink strapped around your neck, you need something to take care of actually washing your hands. And that's
right. Well, no, and that's why I was like, I got to have these guys on to let people know, just because we've all used that other hand sanitizer that you're talking about, and there are parents, and plus, I mean, the way that the world is right now, there's always something. Do you know what I mean? Be it, there's this flu going around, or there's this thing going, and so you, as a parent, you're like, you try and do right by your kids, but we don't always have the right information, and that's why I feel like it's good to get this out there, that Kleenhanz is out there, this alcohol-free, this safe, this more hand-washing on the go product is out there. So, of course, people are going to say now, Lance, okay, well, if it doesn't have alcohol, because that sounds like something that would seriously kill anything, what does make Kleenhanz so good and so beneficial?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because that is the most common question we get if there's no alcohol, because people often think you have to have alcohol. It was just kind of the default years ago. But we have what they call a quaternary ammonium compound, which in short is simply a detergent. It's very effective at killing germs at a very, very low concentration, less than 1%. But it's very effective still. You can have mostly a water-based formula, but it's safe to use. Again, it's more like a detergent, so it's kind of like having a fancy soap, we call it. It's effective at killing germs and cleaning hands, but it's just an easier way to do it. We have, of course, emollients in there to soften your skin, and again, it's one of those where you don't want to mask something like an alcohol with fragrances or fruit flavors, which is what makes it dangerous for kids. You just keep it simple, make it effective, and that's what we did.
Yeah, well, and going back to school, like, this is an important time, to bring this up, with all the germs and things that kids are susceptible to. This is another alternative. And I do think, by the way, I mentioned my family was like addicted to hand sanitizer. I'm not joking. Like, my grandmother may be the worst in that regard. It's like every 5 seconds she's applying, and I'm like, my God, like, how much of that stuff do you need? But this is something you can have on hand that is safe. And I'll be honest, whenever I look for anything in my house, I want something that's going to be, more green, more natural. Chemicals are not good. And I think we're all sort of learning that quickly.
No, it's true, and we try to go as green as we can. We keep improving our sustainability issues. For example, we recently moved manufacturing, so we're made in USA. And we actually use 100% pure wind energy and glacial artesian water to manufacture our products. So we're trying to go as green as possible. So it's just really, really safe, especially because moms are looking out for the kids. As you point out, schools is where, they always call schools petri dishes, and that's actually pretty accurate. Teachers on average are almost absent twice a year just because the kids bring the germs and they touch everything while they're there. And it's the touching, hand to hand that creates what everybody is dealing with. You don't want to be. We always tell people, don't be phobic about germs, just be responsible. If you have to look in your day of all the things you do, pumping your gas, changing diapers, petting the dog, everything you do throughout the day where you pick up germs, don't be phobic, just do your part to clean your hands. Wash your hands 2, 3, 4 times a day if you can. But again, if you don't have a sink nearby, Kleenhanz kind of provides that alternative.
Yeah, no, this is great. We're talking with Lance here with Kleenhanz, which is a better alternative, an alcohol-free alternative to hand sanitizer. So if you're buying that alcohol, the old school, I guess, hand sanitizer, as it were, if that's something that you buy on a regular basis, maybe you have in your purse right now or in your car like I do, you may want to look into to Kleenhanz here, because this is an alcohol-free, a lot safer, better for your skin. And this is kind of cool. You guys are doing something with Team USA with the Olympics. What is this all about?
Yeah, actually, it started a few years back. We were in the Olympics in 2012, but they did about a 2-year trial with Kleenhanz because they had, to your point, they had similar products like everybody's used before, the alcohol gels and foams. But they always said the biggest fear they have is because their players never have a home court. They're always playing somewhere else. And so players are getting sick, there's things happening, and, of course, gels and foams don't really clean. So they started to do trials with us. And the final trial we did was with the Pan Am Games with the women's basketball, and it was very helpful with wounds, with just cleaning germs, and they decided at that point, let's go with it. And so they took us to the Olympics in 2012 and, again, decided to do the same thing this year in Rio.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Oh, yeah, it was exciting for us. I mean, we always like to talk about the fact that we want to get the word out just because that's a pretty big deal. They're very particular about what they do for their athletes. You've got some really high-end athletes that are well-trained, and you've got to protect them. We started with the Dallas Cowboys in a similar way, and they loved the product, and it just came one of those points where you've got some, finely tuned athletes, and you've got to protect it at all costs. And so they went through a pretty rigorous trial with us, but at the end of the day, decided to stick with Kleenhanz, which was really great for a small company like us at the time.
Well, yeah, and people should know as well, Kleenhanz is San Antonio-based. I mean, you're making this product right here, and is it available nationwide?
We're San Antonio-based, and we started off in H-E-B stores, of course, and that's now spread. Now we are in Kroger stores nationwide, and we're expanding from that too. But it all started with H-E-B.
And I should mention here, because I know we're going to get questions on people like, where do I can't find the gel. We're not talking like, it's a hand sanitizer in that regard, but it's not a gel. This is a throwaway towel, correct?
Right, yeah. We don't, again, gels and foams, they smear off and they don't really clean it. We always joke about, my wife jokes about it. It drives her crazy when you see people in restaurants, they pull out their little gel and clean their hands before they eat. And she always wants to run over there and say, you didn't do anything. You didn't clean your hands at all. So that's kind of why we like to have that wipe. And we're in different areas of the store, like in H-E-B, we've got wipes. Kleenhanz is in baby. We're in first aid with the product. Kroger stores is all in the paper aisle, which is really the best location. People expect it to be in paper. It's a wipe, with different types of packaging.
Yeah. I just find it fascinating that something that we've done for years and years, and had we not been having this conversation, I think people just would have continued to do it. And as far as using the gels and you're saying it doesn't work. Like, it's just crazy to me. And that's
the thing. I appreciate you helping spread the awareness because it's true. It's really an education for all of us. I mean, it was for us in the beginning, and it will continue to be because, alcohol sanitizers did their job, quite frankly. They created awareness. They made people pay attention, and they're effective against germs. But over time, people keep finding out how it dries out their skin, because alcohol is a natural stripper. It just strips away. So it can kill germs but can also cause damage. So our thinking always was if you can find a better way to do it that doesn't damage your skin and is safe for your kids, why not go that route?
You know what? I cringe every time I would go to put it on, the hand sanitizer with the alcohol, just because I knew somewhere there was going to be like some small little open cut that didn't bother me, but it was going to burn.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That was the joke when we work with the Cowboys is that these guys are big, tough guys, but if they have a cut and you put alcohol, they'll scream like anybody.
Right. Well, this is great, especially as we head into, right now during the summer, you're not dealing with as much. We're not into the flu season and all that, as it were, but we're approaching, and I think it's certainly good to talk about it, now as we head into that school year and make people aware because, they're already starting to buy school supplies and things, and this is something that, your kids can have with you.
That's exactly right. And you're right. There's no time. We're not a flu season product. We're a year-round product. We're more of a proactive product. We're kind of that product you do to make sure you avoid germs, being proactive instead of reactive. But you're right. I mean, flu season is never an if. It's always a when. It's going to come back around. And how ugly it rears its head, you never know. So it's one of those where you might as well just be prepared.
Yeah. Talking with Lance here from the company Kleenhanz, which is a throwaway towel, no alcohol in it. It's honestly a much different product than the normal hand sanitizers we're all used to using here. And we've all heard the stories somewhere on Dateline or 2020. The alcohol poisoning the kids were getting from actually drinking the old school hand sanitizer. And I love that you guys are San Antonio based. So I'm curious though, Lance, why did you start down this path?
Well, really, it was because we were my partner at the time. We would watch like kids in the bathroom, waiting for someone to open the door so they didn't have to touch the handle. And you would see moms do that, and you would see these alcohol gels, and people, even at the time, this is years ago, really kind of didn't necessarily want to use an alcohol gel, but they didn't know what else to do. So you just found people, I guess, organically finding themselves more in tune with germs, more aware, because they don't go away. That's not going away. You want to find a way to be proactive and protect yourself, and they seem to not like what was out there. So we started thinking of how we could avoid or help prevent the spread of germs, but not doing it the same traditional way. Getting away from gels, getting away from alcohol, providing solutions, for example, in restaurants and bathrooms, and something they can keep in their purse or in schools, classrooms. So that's really, we spent a lot of time just kind of doing a lot of drawings, assembling a team together of some good science people. And we actually really had some high-quality science people, actually, and to help develop the product and then just keep improving it along the way. But we felt we had the right solution. We actually would joke about how early on people would tell us, well, that means somebody has to put a trash can near the door, and no one's going to do that. And, of course, now even if you go into movie theaters where there are no towels, there'll still be a trash can by the door. So it's, people figure it out. We always like to say that. People figure it out. If a kindergartner can figure out what to do with Kleenhanz, I think adults can too.
Right. Well, listen, I mean, we all, I think everyone has purchased hand sanitizer or used it somewhere before, and I think it's good to know. I always love to bring up topics like this and let people know about products that are certainly safer, and better, honestly, for their families and kids. Because listen, life is busy. We don't always have the time to sit there and research hand sanitizer. Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's exactly right.
We hear the stories and things, and that's why it's good to bring these things to the forefront. And I'm so excited for you guys with Team USA in the Olympics. Now, do you get to travel to the Olympics with them?
Oh no, that's we just make sure we get the product to Colorado Springs, and they've got what they need for their season. That's kind of how we work it from there. But we always look forward to them wanting to use Kleenhanz. They decided, I think it's 6 years now since they started using it, so they've stuck with it for a while.
See, now next time you need to negotiate in a trip with them, I think. Listen, I'm such an Olympic. Yeah, I'm such an Olympic nerd. Like that would be my sticking point. Like, hey, we'll give you Kleenhanz, but I got to go.
Well, you're right, and I actually have to believe, and this is just conjecture in my opinion, but I have to believe that athletes are probably a little more appreciative of it now because there's such a Zika virus concern over there, in Rio. So I'm thinking that they probably are really glad they have it.
Well, check this product out. It's available in H-E-B. It's called Kleenhanz. It's a throwaway towel. It is non-alcohol based, not a gel, which we've just learned from the show actually does not really help you all that much. And what is your information, Lance? How do people find out more and read more about you and the company and Kleenhanz?
Well, you can find out about Kleenhanz. You can go to our website to learn about the product, find out where it is. It's Kleenhanz, of course, is spelled different. It's KLEENHANZ.com. But if they go there, they can learn a lot about our product. You can buy it there, or you can find out what stores it's in. And we talk about our history a bit and how we started and what we are. So I think it really helps if they just make sure they remember Kleenhanz, spelled with the K.
Yep. And parents, if you want to do right by your family and kids, this is definitely a product that you want to check out. Lance, congratulations on all your success, and thanks for coming on to talk to us.
Russell, I really appreciate you having me.